Welcome back. This is round 6, so the penultimate round before the cut to top 8. We're going to be seeing two players that are playing for a probable ability to ID in the last round and lock themselves a position in the top 8, which I'm really excited about. You excited?
Yeah, I'm excited that hopefully they'll be able to, the winner of this will be able to ID, but this is a large tournament and we are approaching the round cap, so there are going to be some amount of bashing in the last round, even amongst the X1s, I reckon.
Yep, for sure. So we got Angus McConnell on our left here playing Reanimator and Graham King on 8-point blue-black.
Yeah, what do you think some of the advantages of playing an 8-point blue-black deck are?
Getting the extra point.
Getting the extra point, that's a good start. And we've got a Gemstone Cavern start from Angus, so...
Ooh,
even though,
lucky.
Yeah, even though Graham's won the die roll, Angus is going to start with a land. Graham passes after playing a Scalding Time.
Yeah, getting straight into it here. I think that having that 8 points just means that you've got like a larger number of smally pointed cards, so Force of Will, Reanimate, these kind of cards that just mean that you're going to have more instances of incredibly powerful cards in your deck.
Yeah, Graham opting not to fetch their end of turn to get the Surveil, and looking like he's going to get a basic island or snow-covered island. Ooh. And I think this is to, facilitate a back to basics later down the track.
Yeah. Now, speaking of pointed cards that are powerful, Psychic Frog.
The Frog.
Yeah, Ribbit. That card is, oh my god, so incredibly good.
And Angus going to make our job easy here with a Thoughtseize.
Yeah.
So we see Darkslick Shores, Counterspell, Reanimate, Back to Basics, and a Quantum Riddler.
Yeah, so slowing that Darkslick Shores as well, which you'd normally play as early as possible, but Graham thinking, maybe I don't need to play it now.
Yeah, I think Graham with the ability to maybe get a basic and maybe deploy the Darkslick Shores later if the Back to Basics goes away. It's a kind of not huge decision point, I think, but I could definitely be proven wrong in the spot. So Angus choosing the Reanimate, as you, the Reanimator player, don't want your stuff being reanimated from your opponent.
That's fair enough, too.
And Grief pitching Ardwin the Usurper.
And maybe we take that Back to Basics as well, because that card is also incredibly scary.
Yeah, it's very scary for a deck with not many basics in it.
Yeah, although there is something to be said for the option of just going, you know what, you can put a Back to Basics into play, and I'll just treat all of my lands as Lotus Petals with the intention of getting a fatty into play and then just going to town.
Yeah, so Graham just reading Ardwin the Usurper here.
Ooh.
Do you know what this card does?
Oh, I do actually know what this card does. But do you want to run it through whilst I pull it up on the screen?
So I believe what this creature does is at the beginning of combat, it gets to choose a creature in the graveyard and effectively reanimate it.
Yeah, so it turns it into a 5/5 demon token, and your demons have haste and lifelink, which is pretty incredible. So demons you control have menace, lifelink, and haste, and at the beginning of your combat on your turn, exile up to one target creature card from your graveyard. If you exile a creature card this way, create a token that's a copy of that card, except it's a 5/5 black demon. So even if you exile like a Noble Hierarch at a 0/1, it turns into a 5/5, and then you're able to attack and get the Exalted trigger as well. So
sounds like a very scary metamorphosis of Fanatic in some ways, doesn't it?
Yeah. And it keeps going every single turn.
Keeps going. So Angus here looks like he's run out of gas almost entirely with nothing but 2 fetches to kind of back him up. Whereas Graham's resolving a Consult the Star Charts. Gets a Thoughtseize, which is not going to do too much here. Offering the cut of 2 cards. What do you think about that?
Fair enough.
It's a very, very skillful play, I reckon.
Yeah. 2 incredibly nice people in this matchup.
Yeah. Thoughtseize revealing the Wooded Foothills.
Yeah, that's got him.
Yeah.
There's something to be said like when I have the bad card, the just lands in play, just lands in hand, and my opponent Thoughtseizes me. Like obviously I'm way behind, but I take a little bit of that moral victory.
You gotta take the wins where you can, right? So I imagine Angus here is getting another Surveil land.
Yeah, now there's some powerful draws up the top here. So Graham is tapped out. And I don't know, does Angus have any fatties in the graveyard right now?
Not in the graveyard, but looking more at this deck, this looks more like a slightly more traditional Jund list, which is just harder in on the Reanimate. I think I saw Broadside Bombardiers in the deck.
Oh, very spicy. So maybe, no, okay. There's always something like when you put the Surveyor, you put the fatty in the bin and then you untap and draw the Reanimator spell, which is...
Yeah, and in this case, we draw a land.
Well, that's...
But we're putting a land in the bin, but
yeah.
Angus could have the 3rd Surveil land as well.
Yep.
Hopefully digging. So Graham's got a Murderous Cut, Drown, and Lock and Counterspell. So nothing really happening at the moment as Graham's hand is fully reactive and Angus is kind of bricking.
Yeah. So, look, Angus is going to have to draw a bunch of cards in a row to get through Graham's hand, but also Graham's not putting any pressure on, so he's got plenty of time to do so.
The Lock counter entering the Gemstone Caverns a few turns late, but it doesn't matter. It's still there.
Yep. So lucky. So lucky.
I don't know. I don't think that dice is lucky. It's on a 1. Like.
Well, yeah, I guess. But it is representing a luck counter.
That is true. So Angus choosing to not deploy the Barragoyf here, and Graham has drawn the Harbinger of the Seas. Ooh. This looks very bad for Angus here. Choosing not to fetch basics. Does he have basics to fetch in his deck?
I don't know, but this Harbinger of the Seas, it's basically like a Blood Moon, but instead of making everything mountains, it makes all non-basic lands into islands.
Yeah, Angus has done a lot of damage to himself earlier with fetching and shocking as well.
So, yeah, it's not even that long before Angus will actually just die to the 2/2.
Yeah, I think he's just packing up here. Graham shows that he's got it all. And I think I could be mistaken here, but is Angus's deck 8 points?
It could very well be, actually.
I don't think I saw any jewels there, or...
I saw a bait. There's a bait.
There's bait? Okay, so it is a 7-point deck. Just had the ample ability to get shocks.
Yeah, yep. So, yeah, let's talk sideboards here for a second.
All right.
Because that was so quick. And normally what happens is that the combo deck in the Reanimator, that's got a bit of an advantage in game 1 and then is looking a bit worse off in postboard.
I agree, and Graham has access to a combo of his own in the form of Harbinger of the Seas, which is turn off all your opponent's lands against this deck. So that's a pretty good 1-card combo, I think.
That's a pretty good 1-card combo. I tell you what else is a good 1-card combo. Choke.
Choke? Ooh, choke is also a very good 1-card combo. In fact, it's really funny when you have both a Choke and a Harbinger of the Seas in play.
Things are not untapping.
No, but someone's got a 2/2.
That's true. Yeah. So we see a few things that'll come in from Angus. We've got Abrupt Decay, Carpet of Flowers, and Choke. So they're going to be mainstays definitely coming in. We could see a Maddening Hex, but that's more of like a storm type situation. And then probably Red Elemental Blast and Veil of Summer.
And the Pyroblast.
Oh, Pyroblast as well. Do we have Pyroblast? Yeah, Pyroblast and Red Elemental Blast, yep. As well as the Veil of Summer. So Angus is actually pretty stacked for this matchup. Yeah,
I think he's come to try and not to lose to Back to Basics or Harbinger, but can only do so much.
And then on Graham's side, we've got Ashiok Dream Render.
Oh, that's a beating against Reanimator.
How do you feel about Ashiok? Have you ever played much? Have you played much?
I've played quite a bit of Ashiok. I think it's a fantastic card.
Yeah.
The matchups it's good in is just like kind of a hammer. And it being an opposition agent almost in a way that you can deploy proactively and interrupt your opponent's game plan or graveyard, I think is just very powerful as well.
Yeah. I tell you what, that first ability, spells and abilities your opponents control can't cause their controller to search their library. When I play against that card, I'm like, you know what? Fair enough. I can't use my tutors. You know, that's fair. And fair enough, you're going to exile my graveyard. But, oh, my God, I can't use my fetch lands? I can't use my fetch lands?
It's a tale as old as time, right? Not being able to cast your spells or use your mana. It's like one of the worst feel bads that you can have.
Yeah. So
which is why there's entire archetypes dedicated around it, like Harbinger of the Seas and Back to Basics.
Yeah. So we've got Ashiok Dream Render coming in. We've potentially got Blue Elemental Blast. And then we've got some cards like Duress, Ghost Vacuum to be able to exile Graveyard, Nihil Spellbomb, and maybe a Opposition Agent and a Submerge as well. So both players actually have the ability to bring in like maybe up to 8 pretty potent cards against your opponent.
Yeah, I think their sideboards are built in a way that they're kind of prepared for each other. Yeah. So Angus here leading with a Delighted Halfling. I also saw a Malt Tender in his hand.
Malt Tender.
You remember this card?
I do remember this card.
It's quite new from Aetherdrift, but like it was a Malt Tender, a Ragavan, Troll of Khazad-dûn, Smuggler's Surprise, and one other card that maybe looks like a Metamorphosis Fanatic, but I'm not quite sure. So the Halfling getting Fatal pushed here. Angus has drawn a Chaos Defiler. Goes and finds a Swamp. Do we have a basic Swamp to find?
Well, if we do, then I reckon Angus is going to find
I think we did. We got milled in the last game, but in this case, we've gone for the Bayou.
Yeah, which, if you want to play that Malt Tender this turn, probably a pretty good call.
I mean, your opponent can't Back to Basics you next turn, so...
Yeah, well, without a Simian Spirit Guard or something, which I don't think Graham's going to be playing.
No, that would be an interesting one to play in a blue-black deck. Especially one that is trying to operate on a fair and balanced axis almost. So Molt Tender, being able to work as a mana dork as well as fill up your graveyard.
Yeah. Ghost Vacuum, though, that actually turns off the ability, I believe, because exile a card from your graveyard, and it doesn't target.
No, so it's part of it's not a. It is a mana ability. It's not an activated ability like that otherwise.
Yeah. But if Graham manages to exile all of the cards in Angus's graveyard, then the Molt Tender will have to use the first ability, which is tap null a card. So,
just
interesting
to
situation.
feed the Deathrite and the Ghost Vacuum there. So we've got a dashed Ragavan here, looking to, at worst, trade with a Deathrite, and at best, get something good.
Okay, so we see a Overlord of the Murktide.
Do we get to impending that?
I reckon we do, but we've just had Graham call Judge here.
Yep,
and,
I guess they've got the same question.
So, yeah, we'll see what the answer is there. Let's bring up Overlord of the Bale Merc. So it can improvise, which is you can play it for black and 1 and improvise for 5, which basically means it comes into play with 5, like, they're kind of like suspend counters, where it like slowly ticks away, but it sits in play.
Yeah, the main difference is of the suspend counters, I guess, in this function is that when the last one is removed, the creature gets to block instead of attacking, because with suspend, the creature gets haste. So usually when a creature comes off suspend, it attacks. So
okay.
in this case, when the last counter comes off, it can't attack, but it does get to block.
Yeah, fair enough. So Judge just working out exactly what you can do with this card. It's an alternative cost, or whether it's an additional, I don't know, an additional something. But
yeah.
Do you know the answer?
I don't, but I like to think this Overlord is coming into play.
I think it is.
I would be pretty happy if it does, especially because Angus's hand otherwise is a bit of a clunker at the moment. Can maybe get like the next land to start casting this Chaos Defiler, which is pretty good, mind you.
Yeah, Chaos Defiler. That's another great card.
Yeah, it really helps cement any kind of fair game plans or matchups that like you might be worried about. And Angus getting the basic swamp here.
There it is, the basic swamp. I am protected from your Magus of the Islands.
Well, it is in Graham's hand.
Yeah, okay.
And the Molt Tender as well, helping insulate against that.
Yep.
No red mana otherwise.
So, looks like there's a 5 on that Overlord of the Bale Merc, so...
Looks like it's still in exile.
But there's a 5 count? There's a 5
There's 5 counters on it. Why is it tapped?
I don't know. All right, so maybe... Yep, all right. I can hear them a little bit here, and I can hear them saying, "Yep, I'm going to cast this this for improvise."
Impending, yeah.
Improvise, bloody hell.
Yeah.
All right.
So
cool.
it is being cast for its impending cost, exiling the Troll with the Molt Tender. Smart thing to exile because the Ghost Vacuum might eventually like go off, and you don't necessarily want a Troll on the other side.
So Emperor of Bones being put into hand from that Overlord. So some pretty good value there.
Yeah, the Emperor of Bones is going to be a little bit limited in what it can do just because there is a Ghost Vacuum and a Deathrite Shaman in play.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting to see what Graham chooses to do next turn if he goes to deploy the Harbinger of the Seas. Looks like it doesn't have a third land though, but does have the Deathrite.
Yeah. Well,
So there's another interesting thing you can do about Molt Tender is you can actually use it as a way to cut off your opponent's Deathrite mana if they try and exile a card from your graveyard.
True. You can also exile the card that they're trying to Ghost Vacuum as well.
Yeah. We see a ponder here because Graham does not have a third land drop, and the third land drop that he's found is an Undercity Sewers. That will be coming into play tapped. Look like he's deciding what he wants to stack the other two. I think Drown and Lock and Murktide region.
Yep.
So choosing not to shuffle, gets to surveil at least one into the bin if he so chooses.
And then we see surveil land, putting the Drown Lock in the bin, and then having access to Murktide Regent next turn, maybe. Depending on whether that Molt Tender is tapped or not, and whether you can target something with the Deathrite Shaman.
Yeah, I imagine Murktide is probably not going to be the play next turn. but I could be wrong.
Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit.
We have the frog.
Oh, yeah. My boy. Psychic Frog. Well, I mean, you could definitely play Murktide next turn. Just discard some cards to Psychic Frog.
Do you know who can see the outcome of this game?
Go on.
The Psychic Frog.
Because it can see the opponent's hand?
Yeah, it was Psychic.
Psychic. Yeah, okay. Cool.
Imagine if it had that line of text strapped to it as well. It's like your opponent plays with their hand revealed.
I mean, it should. Like, it seems only fair.
Yeah, now you know when to go all in and when not to, because you know if your opponent has a removal spell or not.
Yeah. I tell you what, I'm impressed from Angus.
Mm-hmm.
Because that Overlord of the Bailmerk is not your card, sometimes it can be hard to remember that you got to tick down the impending counters.
Yeah, it's definitely harder to remember your own triggers when they're not your cards.
Yeah. So well played by Angus here. See,
gets a Stomping Ground into play.
Yep. Looks like that's going to be untapped.
So Ghost Vacuum is active. So the Emperor Bone's maybe not going to get the most value. Malt Tender exiling a creature, and we're casting this Chaos Defiler here.
Ooh, my boy.
So what are you hitting here? The Frog, the Death Rider, or the Ghost Vacuum?
I think I'd be hitting that Frog.
You're hitting the Frog?
It's just, it's really scary in the application it has in terms of, like, I can just have the game run away. Like, if Graham gets to untap and, like, has a counter spell or something and just kind of, like, slows the game down, then it's just incredible. So, Chaos Defiler, when it enters the battlefield or dies, for each opponent, choose a non-land permanent that player controls, destroy one of them chosen at random. So, notably, it doesn't target.
Insane in one-on-one format.
Yeah. So that Chaos Defiler coming into play, Graham had to activate his Ghost Vacuum in response, because if Angus chose to exile the Ghost Vacuum, then Graham wouldn't be able to respond. It's a choose, it's not a target. So it's just the ability is resolved.
Yeah, heads up play by Graham there, making sure to get maximum value no matter what Angus chooses. And Graham's been put in an awkward spot here where he's gonna, if he deploys this Harbinger, it's not necessarily good for him, as he's kind of lost control of the board.
Yeah. So
we see the double whammy here of Ledger Shredder into Murderous Cut. Gets to Connive.
Yep, so that Chaos Defiler is going to get a dies trigger as well, because, you can't just have it come into play effect.
Yeah, and because it's, as you pointed out earlier, it doesn't target. If Graham wants to do anything before the trigger goes on the stack, it's going to be a bit awkward. Chooses the Ghost Vacuum, and we discarded the Harbinger, which I think makes a lot of sense given the current board state.
Yep.
And Graham running out of resources. So I think he is going to be a bit reliant on this Murktide.
Yep, so that trigger has resolved. It looks like there was a little bit of shortcutting going on there, where Graham was just saying, I'm going to exile your Chaos Defiler before that trigger resolves.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it would have been pretty disastrous with that Emperor of Bones.
Yeah.
So, yep.
Smart move. And Death right here, there's no green mana to exile creatures.
Good point. So we see an exile with the Malt Tender and then Fury coming out.
Yeah, Angus has got enough mana and whatnot, because he's in the mid-range shell, so he can just start casting his spells. Doesn't need to be cheating them in all the time.
Yeah, good point.
Just gets to Fury the Ledger Shredder, threaten a Ragavan hit. Yep, Graham opts for the trade, and I think his plan is just going to be this Murktide in his hand.
And we see a tick down on that Overlord just in time. In time.
Get Probe to reveal Metamorphosis Fanatic, Emperor of Bones, and Smuggler's Surprise.
Smuggler's Surprise. Oh, that's got a lot of text. How do you reckon you go remembering all the text on Smuggler's Surprise?
I believe it reads 7 mana, I lose the game.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. So single.
Sorry, 8 or 9. 8 mana, I lose the game.
Yeah, cool. So you mill some cards, put some things into your hand, and then put some stuff into play. It does a lot of things.
Seems powerful in a deck full of fat creatures.
Yeah, for sure.
And
so, Murktide coming down. How you feel if you're in Graham's spot here?
Not good. And the main reason for that is because of this impending Overlord.
Yeah.
But the other reasons include being Hellbent, opponent having 3 very high impact cards, and losing on board.
Okay, so 1 or 2 things that maybe put Graham behind the 8 ball.
Yeah. So Angus has drawn a tapped land, which means doesn't have the ability to cast the Metamorphosis Fanatic if he wants. Still gets to feed the Bloom Tender, but like honestly, this Bloom Tender could just start putting cards in the graveyard to try and make this Emperor of Bones better.
Yep. You got lots of options available here. If you play the Emperor of Bones, though, particularly if you play a pre-combat main, you either have to target a card in your graveyard or you have to grow that Murktide Regent.
So you can target the Misty Rainforest or Ghost Vacuum, and it wouldn't grow the Murktide Regent, I believe.
It's only instant or sorceries?
I believe so.
Okay. I think, is Emperor of Bones a May effect? That's, I'll look it up now for you.
Maybe up to one. But anyway, he's chosen to target the Ragavan, which I think is reasonable. And Graham packs it up. He's seen enough.
I've seen enough.
The Overlord's coming off impending next turn. And so one really powerful thing about these reanimated decks is that they can always just reanimate your creatures.
Yeah.
And, in this case, it was a Ragavan, but you can just always... If your opponent discards it or not, make it yours.
Like one of the, I guess, plan A for Angus is I'm going to pitch cast my Fury, kill some things, and then I'm going to reanimate it, put a Fury into play, like wipe your board. But this game, Angus is like, no, I'll just cast it.
Yeah.
5 mana. Don't have to pitch anything.
Yeah, well, the Mana Dork stayed around. He hit his land drops on time, and normal Magic was kind of played.
Yeah.
And that is one thing Angus's deck can definitely do, is it can definitely play a fair game.
Yeah.
Do you reckon you try and play more of a fair game or an unfair game against blue-black?
I tell you what I reckon I would do. I would shuffle my Overlord with it. There we go. There we go. that's
I don't know. I think I'd rather start with an Overlord with one impending counter in play. Like, that sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah, sometimes I like to present 59 cards. I've been known to do it and then get a game loss.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's happened.
I think it's an experience many players have had.
Yeah, it's not a fun experience.
No.
It's not one that I care to repeat.
But sometimes we still do it anyway.
Yeah.
All right. We have a third game coming up, and this time Graham's going to get it to be on the play.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's a really interesting matchup because they're both doing, like, really powerful stuff that if one of them, like, kind of kicks it off early, then the game is over pretty quickly. But if they don't, then we get this, like, kind of grindy back and forth where both of them are eking out value.
So I see here from Graham, a Swamp, Deathrite, Brainstorm, Harbinger of the Seas, Drown in the Loch. Not quite sure on the others. So we have a Gemstone Cavern start again from Angus.
So lucky.
Graham leading off with a Deathrite. Misty Rainforest and Submerge looking like the other two cards in Graham's hand. Angus with a Once Upon a Time, Molten Collapse, Stomping Ground. Land that he looks like he's debating to play is Basic Swamp, so that's a good one to have. Plays the Stomping Ground.
So Submerge, if an opponent controls a forest and you control an island, you may play Submerge without paying its mana cost. So with that Stomping Ground in play, Submerge is on as soon as Graham plays an island, which I'm sure is going to happen at some point.
Yeah, it looks like the other two cards in Angus's hand are Animate Dead and Nevergoyf.
Okay. So got some action, and we draw a Fury for turn.
So one thing Graham as well is probably interested in doing is firing off this Submerge before he plays the Harbinger.
Explain to me, what's going on there?
Well, the Harbinger turns all the non-basics into islands.
Okay, yep.
Which means Graham will not have a forest.
So Angus won't have a forest. Okay, yep, I get you. So you have to play the Submerge, otherwise you're going to be playing it for 5 mana.
Yeah. So what we call in the business a non-bow.
A non-bow. Have you ever played Submerge for 5 mana, full retail?
No, I don't think so.
I definitely have.
How did that game go for you?
Well, I won that game despite thinking that my opponent had forests in their deck, which they did not. You know, sometimes you play terribly and get rewarded.
Sometimes. Graham fetching and firing off the Brainstorm because it had to lead on a basic swamp.
Yep.
So looking for that third land. Has found it.
And a Brazen Borrower / Petty Theft as well.
Yeah, and a Barragoyf to go with it.
So plenty of options available to Graham. I really appreciate the choice of basic lands that Graham's gone for.
Yes, Cold Snap, Ice Age Snow Basics, very nice.
Yeah.
Sometimes I like to use Ice Age non-snow basics. It really throws people off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some disgusting basics out there you can use. So the end of turn Brainstorm into the Harbinger.
And
with the Harbinger on the stack?
We're gonna have to call Judge there, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, looks like they didn't quite get it in there.
Yeah. So we'll get that sorted because it looked pretty clear to me that Graham resolved that Harbinger first.
Yeah.
And then tried to play that
Submerge.
Yeah. Which is going to be a huge difference in this game because that Malt Tender is going to be able to tap for mana that is not blue.
Also, it's going to be able to fill up that graveyard, fill up for the Nethergoyf. And funnily enough, if the Malt Tender was, still in play and the Submerge has resolved, you can always just mill the card that got submerged.
True.
But I think the thing that Angus has, which is kind of like the trump card he's maybe holding on to for this Harbinger, is the Fury in his hand.
Ooh, yeah.
So
you don't need to have islands in play.
No?
You can have islands in play, sorry.
You will have islands in play.
You will definitely have islands in play. We all have islands in play. That's what we strive to do in our lives. But Fury does not require islands. It requires an additional red card, which is not too bad.
Yeah.
So we got 1 basic swamp, 2 islands, and then that Malt Tender, which is able to tap for mana of any color.
Yeah, we're going to have an Overlord of the Bale Merc come on in Pending, because we do have the basic swamp.
So I tell you what, I said it before that I'm impressed with Angus's ability, considering he might not have Overlord of the Bale Merc in his deck, but it turns out there's a reason why he was actually pretty good at remembering that.
He had it anyway. So it gets the Troll of Khazad-dûn, because we can't get Fable of the Mirror Breaker, or Once Upon a Time, or Carpet of Flowers. But, we hit.
We hit. And
that is a land.
That Carpet of Flowers, that would have been all right. Yeah, play that Carpet of Flowers first main and then go to second main, get 2 islands, two additional green sources.
Maybe the blue-black back-to-basics deck should be splashing green for its own Carpet of Flowers.
Could be.
Yeah, that'd be pretty funny. Just turn all your opponent's lands into islands and then get a lot of mana from Carpet.
Yeah, why not?
So the Troll of Khazad-dûn here looks like it is going to be cycled.
Yeah.
He's thinking about it.
Okay.
Does he second basic swamp to get?
Let's have a look. I'll look up his deck list here. No, we've only got the 1 basic swamp.
Okay, so he's going to be able to find an island.
Yeah. A solid island, solid choice.
Gets a choice of islands, but choosing not to do anything with it. Graham's drawn a Murderous Cut. Well, that could be somewhat useful against this Malt Tender, which is kind of keeping him a bit in the game.
Yep, or just play at the Baraglyph because it can do a lot of work.
Yeah, that's true. This is definitely big. We've got instant, creature, land, enchantment, sorcery. It's a 5/6.
5/6. It's a big boy. And is that Nethergoyf the same size?
Not quite. It doesn't have land in the bin.
Okay.
But it does have the other 4 types now that the troll has entered the graveyard. But Angus here also does have the Animate Dead in his hand.
Yep.
I am wondering if his plan is going to be to animate this troll.
Oh, but a big troll in the way. Yeah. So look, if you're going to jump in this match at this point in time, which side are you choosing?
Based on what I can see from both players' hands, I think Graham is a slight favorite. But this could change very quickly if that Harbinger comes off and Angus has a good series of draws. Graham does have a lot of interaction in hand. Angus, however, may choose to not kill this Harbinger just because he does know about the Submerge.
Yep.
And, doesn't necessarily want to turn it on.
That's fair enough. In some ways, that Harbinger is actually helping Angus more than it's hindering him.
Yeah. So. I mean, we're exiling the Molten Collapse, which is going to shrink the Baraglyph as it's the only sorcery.
Yep.
Shrinks the Nethergoyf as well.
Shrink both of them.
We can have a degenerative Goyf battle. Drawn, is that an Obsidian Shamar? No, it's the Fury from earlier. No, mate. And... no, I don't know what that card is.
Yep. Is that an Animate Dead?
I know that one's Animate Dead. What he's drawn for the turn, not quite sure, but looks like he can cast it. I think it's Reanimate, actually, from the Commander Series Black.
Ah, okay.
nice and foil.
Reanimate being a point, and a very powerful point at that. I could see that card going to 2 points.
Part of me here wants to take this Deathrite out of Graham's bin, and Angus agrees.
Interesting. Okay, so I want another red source.
Well, giving the access to just a second coloured source effectively is huge, especially through this Harbinger of the Seas, which has turned off your own Submerge, which means that like you're allowed a bit more free reign, and you can probably race this.
For sure. So
I mean, you could even just trade with Baraggoyf and have a good time.
Yeah, we got Reanimate on that troll, putting Angus to 10. But 6/5 that can't be blocked except by 3 or more creatures.
Yeah, Angus remembering to take off the impending counter from the Overlord. And Graham has drawn an Emperor of Bones here, without the second black source, or really any creatures in the bin at all.
Yeah, there's been a lot of like creatures that were in the bin.
Yeah, Graham doing a double check. Yeah, Graham doing a double check, and this Deathrite coming out of the bin is also quite awkward for this Murderous Cut. Just like cutting off that extra Delve resources can be quite a bit. So going for the Murderous Cut on the Troll.
And we're going to see like an exile of a couple of cards there. Yep. No, not all of those cards. We might have to call. Yeah, okay.
No, was it almost all?
Yeah, almost all. You got to all the cards that are in the graveyard, but the Murderous Cut definitely.
Imagine if you could delve the card on the stack to reduce its cost.
Yeah,
I'm not sure how that would work, but it would be pretty painful, I imagine.
So we got that Baraggoyf coming into play now. You could see like a chump block with the Nethergoyf. You could see a chump block with the Deathrite Shaman. You could see just like letting it hit, but. All right, so
I think you don't want to let the Baraggoyf connect just because it starts filling up the graveyard. It gives you more targets for the Deathrite, I guess, or even more things for you to reanimate. But what is interesting here is that the Baraggoyf, I believe, is a 3/4 because there are no lands in the bin. The Malt Tender as well, having the ability to exile cards in order to produce mana, can shrink the Baraggoyf. So I think what Angus is going to do here is actually hardcast this Fury to take out the Baraggoyf.
Yeah, one of the problems, though, is I can't see any lands there. So that Deathrite Shaman doesn't actually tap for mana.
But the Malt Tender does.
Okay, so that's one red.
Oh, it's one red. That's true. We are out of another one.
Yeah. So, interesting spot here. We see a...
Escaped Nethergoyf. Got instant sorcery creature enchantment in the bin for Angus. So he can actually bring back his Nethergoyf and shrink his opponent's Baraggoyf as well as...
What a weird situation to shrink a Baraggoyf that much.
Yeah, this is what happens when you have Nethergoyfs and Baraggoyfs and they all start shrinking each other.
Yeah.
Truly degenerative magic.
And that... all right, did we see... No, we missed that trigger on the...
Missed it this time. It's hiding down in the shadows. I missed it myself.
Yeah, that card's so hard. And I've been really impressed with how well they've done in remembering all these triggers and setting up all these different cards. There's so many things going on in this match.
Oh, yeah, and there's so many things going on in Highlander. So Graham choosing to shuffle with the Ponder, draws a Reanimate of his own, and there's nothing in the graveyard.
the
Reanimate deck has taken everything out of his own graveyard.
Yeah, what a weird situation. So,
do you like maybe brazen borrowing the Deathrite back to your hand?
Oh, I like that. I could see that. Yeah, for sure. Bit of petty theft.
Yeah. So luckily our Baraggoyf is bigger than our opponent's Nethergoyf, and we can grow our Baraggoyf. They can't grow their Nethergoyf off our attacks.
So we see a milling of 2 cards here, which weirdly could actually turn on the Deathrite Shaman if a land is put into the graveyard.
Ooh, that could be really bad. But if enough cards are put into the graveyard, you could get 2 card types, which might make the Baraggoyf a 5/6. But alas, it is still a 3/4.
3/4, okay. With that Prismatic Vista going to the graveyard.
Yeah. So Graham holding up Drown in the Lock and Petty Theft as interaction.
Are we going to see an activation on this Malt Tender to maybe put a card in the graveyard?
I think you do, just to, give activations to both your Malt Tender and your Deathrite, plus being able to grow the Nethergoyf. Just gives you more options overall.
Yep, plenty of options available here, including now the ability to hardcast that Fury.
Unfortunately, no, because the Deathrite can target the Prismatic Vista, Malt Tender gets eat the Wooded Foothills, and this Drown in the Lock isn't going to be able to counter it because there's no graveyard.
Yep, makes sense.
And looks like that's what Angus is going to do. He's taking out the Prismatic Vista, shrinking the Goyfs by exiling both lands.
Yep. And then we see...
Do you attack first in this situation?
I don't know, but I think I would tap 5 mana for my Fury instead of 4 mana. So we might just have to get a judge in there just to confirm that the correct amount of mana is being paid for that hardcast Fury.
God, imagine if Fury was 4 mana.
Yeah.
That's right. We've got the 5th land tapped now. Also, probably not attacking with another Goyf now that I think about it. It would have been too small. This is a 1/2.
Oh, it's a 1/2.
Yeah.
We got instant sorcery.
Well, no, it's a 0/1 at the moment because it's only our graveyard.
No, it's just a 0/1.
Yeah. It's just a little guy.
I like your plan of not attacking with the 0/1.
Yeah. We're gonna...
That petty theft is the petty theft or the Dranon the Walk. No, Dranon can't counter anything.
I could counter a Chalice of the Void on 0.
Chalice of the Void on 0, a Mishra's Bauble. Yep.
Cards which do not appear in Angus's deck, I don't believe, or I'd be surprised if they did. Looks like Graham's in a bit of a predicament here and trying to work out how best to use this Brazen Borrower. I think maybe he was thinking he was going to save the Barrogoyf.
Yeah, look, but you can't target your own things. Petty theft is only bounce an opponent's thing.
Maybe it's possible that Graham spent as long thinking about it as I did and came to the same conclusion. It's just not doable.
Yep, that makes sense.
Bouncing the Deathrite back to Graham's hand.
Which was, I like that play.
Putting an enchantment in the bin.
Yep.
Which could have actually saved the Nethergoyf now that I think about it. Barrogoyf. Oh, no, sorry, it was a 2/3, instant sorcery, so it would have been 3 because there was no lands in the thing.
Oh, okay.
But we get to reanimate the Barrogoyf, which is now bigger because of the animate dead in the thing.
There's so much stuff going on.
We've got a blue elemental blast as a way of dealing with this Fury.
Yeah, that seems good too.
Puts another creature in the bin as well, mind you, but I guess we can do this all at instant speed.
So notably, Angus is back down to single swamp, plus the Malt Tender to be able to tap for green or red, but can't play any double black spells and can't play any other spells that have double mana costs.
Yeah, and this Smuggler's Surprise, I believe, needs 2 green mana in order to fully get off the table.
Yeah.
He might end up just having to cast it for drawing cards, effectively.
I think it's time we go through this card. So Smuggler's Surprise, it's an instant. You got to pay single green to start with, and then it's got Spree, so you can pay additional amounts of mana to do additional additional parts in that spell. So the first one is 2 for mill 4 cards. You may put up to 2 creature cards
or land.
And or land cards from among those mill cards into your hand. Then you can pay 4 and a green. You may put up to 2 creature cards from your graveyard into the battlefield. And then 1 creatures you control with power 4 or greater gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn.
Yeah, so Graham's drawn for turn, drawn under City Sewers, which does come into play untapped, as it is a basic island. Well, it is an island, thanks to this Harbinger.
Yep, okay.
2 cards in Angus's graveyard for this Drown in the Loch, which, interestingly, I believe has a CMC of 1.
Okay, the Smuggler's Surprise has a CMC of 1?
I believe so.
I don't know. That's going to be one for the judges.
I think they've just called for it.
Yep, that makes sense.
I'm glad the players are as equally as confused as we are.
Yeah. Look, what is stuff going on?
Yep. Wants to ask away from the table. He's got the read.
Yeah, look, fair enough. So we're not going to speak too highly here. We're just going to keep an eye out because the players are actually just to our right here, so in a closed door. But because Angus has come out of the room in order to ask this question of the judge, we're not going to be talking about the actual cards in Graham's hand.
Instead we're going to be talking about our wonderful producer Marcus, who is just a fantastic human being who did say we would talk a lot of shit about him on air.
Oh, yeah.
So we should instead give him compliments, I think.
I think so, yeah, because he asked us to be mean and say really bad things.
But in reality, he's just really good at his job.
Yeah, he is. Actually, a lot of this is a lot of what we've seen in Australian Magic in terms of coverage actually comes from Marcus.
Yeah, he does a fantastic job doing it, and it's understandable he keeps getting hired.
Yeah. He actually, so it's about a 7 or 8 hour drive from Melbourne to Canberra. Marcus actually lives in Melbourne and drove up with all of his equipment in order to be able to provide coverage for this weekend. So, yeah, shout out to Marcus.
I think we're about to have another judge calling. Yep, it doesn't have the second green for the Smuggler's Surprise like I thought it did.
Okay, so we've got that judge coming back, just making sure that we're all doing the right things.
Yeah. Look, when you've got this many different islands in play that are all functionally identical, it can be difficult to work out what mana you actually do have in play.
Yeah, and whether you actually now have to play the spell or not. Like,
I believe as you choose your modes as you cast the spell. So if you announce illegal modes, it gets rewound.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
But it does get drowned and locked anyway.
Okay.
Was going to put some cards into Angus's hand.
Yep. So.
And they're currently doing some Goyf math.
Grief math.
All right, so Angus has an instant and an enchantment, and no longer has a Goyf.
Okay, so I missed there. What happened to that Goyf? What happened there?
I think the Goyf got drowned and locked.
The Goyf got drowned in the lock? No, because I think that so maybe it blocked or something?
Might have blocked the Barrow Goyf, yeah. So
but the Barrow Goyf has Death Touch, so...
And Lifelink.
And Lifelink, so I have no idea.
I think he just wanted to stop it connecting.
Yeah,
And this Overlord does come off this time. So you get to chump with the Ignoble Hierarch on the Barrow Goyf if you so desire, and then maybe try and ride this Overlord to victory, but...
Yep, that makes sense. So there are a couple of options available there. So maybe it was just a chump block with that Nether Goyf.
Yeah, it looks like it. So Deathrite, Emperor of Bones, and Submerge, which we can now hardcast.
We've got that Emperor of Bones, but we don't have a second black source for Graham.
No, the Harbinger doing more work, I think, against Graham this game so far.
It's been an interesting situation. It's kind of stuffed up both players.
Yeah, we do get to exile the Nether Goyf, which is kind of nice. Because, it's gone forever now. There's no more escaping.
Yep. So non-basic lands are islands. Boo and 1 for a 2/2. So a little bit harder to cast than Magus of the Moon.
Yeah, do you know what? Angus has just drawn a red elemental blast.
Interesting.
So now has the ability to deal with his Harbinger and has hit a Deadpool off the Overlord. Oh, that's breaking.
Ooh, Deadpool. So what do you think is going to happen with this Deadpool?
I think that if this Barrow Goyf doesn't trade with this Overlord, this Barrow Goyf is going to become a very nice Deadpool target.
Okay, and that Overlord also getting pumped up by the Exalted trigger on the Noble Hierarch. So.
Even has the Red Elemental Blast as backup against Counter Magic with the Molt Tender.
Yeah. I tell you what we might see here, though. The fabled full retail price of that Submerge. And I would enjoy that. So, what do we see here? We got
flashing in Brazen Burrower.
Yep. Okay.
We're going to try and end this game real quick.
Yep, so we're going to take 3 damage from the Deadpool.
Yeah, so this Barrow Goyf has padded Graham's life total from getting in a bunch of hits earlier.
Yep.
Graham drawing the Mental Misstep, which is going to line up well against this Red Elemental Blast in Angus's hand.
Yep, could do. So a few options available here. That Nether Goyf would have instant sorcery. I think it's just 2 power.
So there's also... Yeah. However, the Deadpool, being the Goyf that it is at the moment, sees creatures, instants, sorceries, and lands. So it's a 4/5.
Yeah.
Unusual stats for a Deadpool.
4/5 Deadpool with Lifelink and Death Touch as well.
So Graham choosing to go with the Deathrite here. It's only black source as well, so can't even activate the Emperor of Bones.
Yep, okay, so we're going to go to combat, and Angus has said, hang on a second, we just want to wait, because I want to exile this creature before you maybe exile it with the Emperor of Bones.
Yep, that makes sense. The thing I don't necessarily like about that play potentially is leaving down the Red Elemental Blast, but I can definitely understand the Generous Ent being a bit scarier, as this Brazen Burrow might have to be the target of this blast, as it is like putting a quick pressure on Angus's life total, which is slowly depleting.
We're going to see some lifelink on the Deadpool, though.
That is true, and maybe if it connects.
Yeah. Well, we...
Choosing to attack with both, going for full value, finds an Endurance,
which he currently can't cast.
As doesn't have the second... it does have the Dork and the Molt Tender.
Yeah, and might be thinking to himself, I can blast the Harbinger and then be able to cast the Endurance.
So, Barrow Goyf blocking the Deadpool.
That makes sense.
See, I maybe would have gone with the safer line of just attacking with the Deadpool to get full value from the Exalted Trigger from the Ignoble Hierarch, just to pad my life total more. But I think maybe just attacking with the Overlord and getting more value is probably better in the long term.
Yeah. So that Harbinger is staying in play. Angus going back up to 10 life. We've got a Brazen Borrower, we've got a Deathrite Shaman, we've got this Emperor of Bones. We've got a lot of things going on.
Yeah, I think this Harbinger being in play is actually more beneficial for Angus just because it means the Submerge isn't free.
Yeah. But it is cutting off the endurance, right? Double green. Only has the Malt Tender for a single green source.
Oh, we have the Ignoble Hierarch.
Ooh, you got me.
Yeah, but we're going to see a Murktide here.
Oh, okay. We're going to shrink that Deadpool as well as make a giant Murktide here.
Yeah, I guess that's the other thing as well. You don't want to be using the Malt Tender necessarily to take cards out of your graveyard in order to cast this Endurance, because it does shrink your Deadpool.
Yep. We might see a Emperor of Bones exiling that Barragoth of Graham's and then activating that ability in order to get in.
Unfortunately, he doesn't have Axe. Oh, no, he does have Black Mana there.
Yeah, he's got
the Deathrite, which can target land, but there's the Malt Tender, which can counter that activation.
The Malt Tender can only counter the activation if it's in Angus's graveyard. So the Barragoth in Graham's graveyard can be exiled by that Emperor of Bones.
Yes. Sorry, I was talking about the land ability for Deathrite Shaman.
Yes, the land ability from Deathrite Shaman can't be activated, so...
Yeah. Choosing to exile an enchantment? Okay.
Interesting.
And flashing in the Endurance.
Yeah.
Shuffling in his own graveyard. Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because would they be exiling and then making the Murktide region grow, maybe?
Well, if you targeted your opponent's graveyard, the Drown and the Lock would definitely grow the Murktide region. The Barragoth, not so much. But, I don't know, that thing's kind of scary. Your opponent's got down with, effective lethal.
Yep. So we see a hardcast Grief here to have a look at Graham's hand, which we know the Submerge is in there. It's been in there for quite some time.
Shows the mental misstep, and Angus is going to have to consider this given that he's got the Red Elemental Blast. And
which makes sense.
Yep, chooses to go for the misstep.
I like it.
Graham's currently paying full retail for this Submerge.
But that's, I hope we get to see that. I hope we get to see that. All right, so Barragoth Deadpool coming in, and what will we do?
I guess you don't want to attack with the Overlord because the Murktide just kind of chumps it, but we don't have cards in our graveyard at the moment to use the Malt Tender in order to Blue Blast something, which can be slightly worrying.
So we see an activation on the Emperor of Bones, putting the Nethergoth into play.
I think we've just got a chump blocker for a turn.
Yep, that makes sense. And we've got a double chump block.
Yeah, Graham wanting to lose the Harbinger here so that he can get the Submerge online, I believe.
Yeah, and because it's shrunk so much, that Deadpool is actually pretty small.
Yeah, does get the Exalted Trigger, hopefully, and does put the Nethergoth back in the bin. And we've not seen any green mana out of Graham so far, so the Deathrite's not necessarily going to be able to get rid of it.
Yeah. So that Barragoth Deadpool had instant and...
Instant creature.
Instant creature. So it was a 2/3, and it was being blocked by a 2/2 Harbinger and a... 2-power Nethergoth.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's right.
Trades. Yeah, it has Death Touch, so it kills both of them.
Yeah, makes sense. But we're just confirming what's going on here. We're just getting the judges to make sure that everything's on the up and up.
Yeah. So you have unlocked your mana now as well, so you can blast the Murktide.
Yeah.
And I might honestly consider doing this now before Graham draws a card and gets to do anything tricky. Maybe you do it in... maybe not the upkeep, but Graham could also submerge his own Murktide.
Could do, yeah.
It's a play I've seen before.
Whenever one or more possum counters are put on Emperor of Bones, put a creature card with Emperor of Bones into the battlefield
under your control with a finality counter
on it. So it gains haste, sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. So it's going to have a finality counter. We're currently looking at a Nethergoth that looks to be in the graveyard of Angus right now.
Yeah, looks like it should be in exile instead, and I think that's what the judge is working out right now.
Quite possibly, but maybe not. So we might have to call the judge again for that one, just because of how many things are going on here.
And
so that Deathrite Shaman getting activated now. And yeah, we might just call a judge over and just make sure that the Nethergoyf that is in the graveyard right now is not actually in the graveyard and it should be exiled.
Finality counter.
It had a finality counter on it, so yeah, we just... now it's in exile.
now.
Okay, yeah.
All right, so we've got a long goodbye here to take out this Endurance, the one creature with reach. Also, can't be countered, that spell.
There's so many things going on here. This is great. This is
and we've got an attack for lethal here, which is going to force the Blue Blast onto the Murktide.
Yeah. So the Harbinger has gone now, so this Submerge can be cast for free. And so Graham's got to stop and think here. Because does he do it to that? Does he do it to the Overlord of the Burke? Oh, I can't say that card.
Bale Merc.
Thank you. There's so many different options available that Deathrite Shaman can also be activated. So, yeah, what do we do?
Submerging the Murktide here, I quite like it actually, just because the threat is so powerful. And in terms of the clock that is available, Deathrite does have the ability to take the Red Elemental Blast out of Angus, putting them down to 5, meaning that after this Brazen Burrower hits, Angus is on an effective 5, which means that Angus can then be on an effective 3 after another Deathrite activation, meaning that this Brazen Burrower can be lethal.
But the problem is, that Brazen Burrower is coming in for 3 damage, can put Angus to 7, the Deathrite puts Angus to 5, and then the Brazen Burrower attacking again puts him to 2, and the Deathrite activation again puts him to 0. So,
I think Graham has realized that and realized what the clock is. So the Brazen Burrower putting Angus to 7.
Yep.
And the Deathrite being there to then change it to 5 life, and then another increment of those 2 again, is enough to take Angus out. Looks like we're on turn 1 of the game.
Turn 1 of time, yeah. Ooh, mama.
What's he drawing?
That might just be lethal right there. Broadside Bombardiers.
Oh, the Submerge was ever had to use, it's now.
Yep, that makes sense. Makes sense.
Look, here's something cool. The Broadside Bombardiers has been submerged. The Overlord gets to attack, mills the Broadside.
Yep.
And gets played. I don't think we get to activate it.
Yeah, because I think the Broadside itself has to have attacked. Yep. Sacrifice another creature or artifact. Broadside Bombardiers deals damage equal to 2 plus the sacrificed opponent's mana value to any target. Activate this only if this creature attacked this turn and only once each turn.
I mean, the other thing you can do is you can attack with the Overlord of the Bale Merc and get the Deadpool.
That's true. And then you can...
cast the Deadpool. Which is probably pretty good in this situation. Your opponent's Hellbent.
Yep. So we've got... You can trade text box with that Flyer. You can trade text box with the Deathrite Shaman. Plenty of options available there. No green mana for Graham, so can't exile that Deathrite Shaman. I can't exile that Deadpool with the Deathrite Shaman.
There's definitely one of the downsides of Deathrite in this blue-black deck without green, because it is an 8-point deck, doesn't necessarily have the ability to facilitate the mana requirements to add the Deathrite. And because you're also a back-to-basics deck, you don't want to screw around with your mana base too much.
Yeah, you want to have all the basics in there, so you can't just be affording to, put a Overgrown Tomb in there or something like that.
Yeah. So we got a Deathrite blocking and exiling the misstep, putting Angus down to 5. And Graham is not going to have the ability either to end-step sacrifice whatever Deadpool chooses.
Yep.
Chooses the Brazen Burrow.
Yep. Graham being on 9 life right now. So...
Graham going down to 6.
Yep. And hoping to draw something to take this game out. We're in turn 2 of time, I believe.
Last turn 0?
1, 2, I think.
I think this is turn 1 of time. Turn 2 of time.
Turn 2.
Yeah.
Okay. So there is definitely a limited amount of game left in this game.
Yeah. So Graham had turn 0, which means that he was going to have to win. He's got this turn and 1 more turn to try and end this game. But he also has to not die here.
Yeah. I say it would be pretty funky is if somehow he managed to put an additional counter on that Emperor of Bones.
That would be very cool.
That'd be spicy.
I've not seen someone do that interaction yet, but I'm really hoping for the day I do get to see it.
For sure. So we see a block on the Brazen Burrower and a block on the...
Did that Deadpool just block a creature without flying?
Oop, we're going to have to call a judge again, I think.
Yeah.
Because we just had an illegal block. So.
Yeah, I think the Deadpool has the text of Brazen Burrow can only block creatures with flying.
Yeah. So a little bit hard to tell that when you've got a Japanese card there.
Yeah. That can be the downside of playing foreign language cards sometimes. You forget what's going on just because there's so many things to maintain. You do need to be able to read.
Yep.
And they do look pretty, though.
Yeah, they do. They do. I agree with that.
Do you have a preferred language of cards other than English?
So I used to enjoy like lots of different language cards and just like having everything be all different languages.
Yeah.
But now I've gone to English.
Just all English?
Yeah, English. Just there's been enough times when my opponent needs to read my cards.
Yeah.
And because there's so many different artworks these days, and some of those artworks I really love. I really love the actual alternative artworks. I know some people actually really don't like them, but I really like them. And so when I'm going to play a weird artwork, then I want people to be able to read my cards. So
yeah. No, that's a very fair reason for wanting to play English cards, I think.
How about you? Japanese, Korean, English?
It depends on the card, actually.
Yeah?
So, like, some cards I prefer in Japanese, other cards I might prefer in, like, Korean.
Yeah?
I've got, like, a wide mix of cards in my personal collection, so...
I will say there is one card that in particular I quite like in Japanese, which is the Stronghold Mana Leak.
Yeah?
Because when I was, like, 10 or 11 years old, my brother went over to Japan.
Yeah.
And he brought back some packets of Japanese Magic cards, and it included a Mana Leak in there that I remember playing specifically from that present that my brother got me when I was
nice.
like 10, 11 years old. So, yeah, definitely have a place in my heart for Stronghold Japanese Mana Leak.
Very good. You gotta have cards that you like throughout history and stuff. Like cards that mean a lot to you. Sentimental value, I think, is just a really underrated thing in this game sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
And like Highlander as well gives you the ability to play any sentimental card you have because you only need one copy of it.
Yep, totally right. So you can have some pretty... just some pretty cards.
Yeah.
Just some pretty cards.
I mean, almost all Magic cards are pretty, right? There's so many gorgeous arts and so many different things. Like, the game itself can just be pretty.
Yeah, for sure.
And sometimes the game isn't pretty. Like right now, this board state can be a bit messy.
Yeah. This is one of those ones where it's, we're in round 6 now.
Oh yeah,
and,
it's been a long day, but
and these rounds, like depending on whether you play all 3 games out in the match, you can be playing for an entire hour, longer even.
Yeah, and this has been a particularly complicated game with like a lot of complicated board states, and both players still having a great time, enjoying themselves, laughing, and just trying to get through this.
Yeah, for sure. And you can see just those smiles on their face, like they know. Right? They know. They both know. Oh yeah, okay, another one. So just a couple of smiles on their faces as they enjoy playing a bit of Magic the Gathering.
So it's kind of just another day in the office sometimes. Like, yeah, stuff happens and you go with it.
Yeah.
There's always another Magic tournament.
Yeah.
Besides, this isn't even the one most people are excited for. Do you know what tournament people are excited for?
Look, I'm excited for one event coming up in the near future.
I think it might be the same event we're talking about.
Yeah, the Black Lotus event.
So November 14th to 16th?
Yep, the event to end all events.
Yes.
And so you can go to mtgbazaar.com and you can check out all the different side events that are going to be running that weekend, as well as the main event, which is first place...
a Black Lotus, a real paper Black Lotus.
Unlimited Black Lotus, which is absolutely phenomenal as a prize to be put up in a Highlander event. I can't even remember the last time the Black Lotus was put up.
I can.
Yeah?
I believe it was the 2011 Nationals event, Highlander Nationals event.
Okay.
Won by a guy called Stefan on Bant.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. Very cool. 2011. All right. So
yeah, it was the last year we had nationals, as in like the nationals around the world, where every country had nationals.
Yeah.
Before we then went back to nationals after the World Magic Cup system.
Yeah, cool. So over a decade.
Oh, well over a decade.
Yep,
nearly a decade and a half.
Yeah. And shout out to the man that has actually made this possible, including the coverage today, the event to end all events, as well as Canbrawl and the invitationals that have been running all across the country. Pat Hawkins.
Yeah, just throwing up loads of events, left, right, and center, helping almost anyone who reaches out to him, basically.
Yeah.
Like, he just wants to make good events and make them happen.
Yeah. You have the pleasure of working for Pat, yeah?
I do. He's a great boss. It's good fun. Never a boring day in the office. Get to hear him talk a lot, and that's always really fun. I drone half of it out, if I'm being honest, but he knows that.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think I probably speak to Pat like, I don't know, at least an hour every 2 days.
Oh, I hear half the conversations you two have, so, or at least one half of it.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, so we're in pretty cold Canberra at the moment, in the nation's capital, playing some Highlander. This is round 6 of Canbrawl. We've got one more round after this round, and then we're going to cut to a top 8.
Yeah. Any predictions you have for top 8 so far?
Well, I think I saw Volti in the last round just ID'd into top 8.
Yeah, I believe Volti ID'd, and presumably her opponent as well ID'd with her.
Yeah.
It's hard for one person to ID without the other.
Yep. ID standing for intentional draw.
Yep.
So, well, that's the one that I'm actually most excited about because it's $150 for an entire day. So,
and they both got another one.
All right, so we've just been informed by the staff here that both players actually have game rule violations, 2 of them in fact, and this is the 3rd one, but they're both getting this game rule violation at the same time. So potentially it is getting escalated to a game loss each, but because they're both getting a game loss at the same time, I believe that'll get downgraded to actually neither of them getting a game loss.
Yeah, because otherwise what would happen is we'd have both players game loss and we'd need to do another game, which we're already in turn 2 of turns.
Yeah. So then I guess it would be an unintentional draw at that point.
Yeah. Which isn't an ideal outcome for either of these players, but it does mean that they're both still technically live. And the really other funny thing is throwing these 2 draws into the rest of the tournament really screws up the math for everyone else.
Oh, yeah. A lot of people that will think that they had the ability to ID in the last round will find themselves being potentially paired against either Angus or Graham.
Oh, it's not just the ones paired into them. They've got to take into consideration like being jumped by both as well.
Yeah.
So it's a risky thing.
It's going to be very interesting. So shout out to the judges.
Yeah. This match, they've been involved in this match a lot.
They have. And I'm very happy for it, right? Yeah.
All right. I think they've chosen to draw.
All right. That's...
we have confirmation. Graham loses.
Graham loses. All right. So we see a concession from Graham King here. Maybe a concession or maybe... Double GRV, so double game rule violation, which gets escalated to a game loss, which is an unfortunate way to finish this match off, considering just how interesting this matchup was and all of those little interactions.
It is, but still at the end of the day, as players, we are competing and we have to play tight.
Yeah.
And you and I definitely been on these kinds of situations before.
Oh, my head would be melted if I was either one of those players playing that game. My head's melted just from commentating that game. There was so many triggers, so many complications, and just the card Deadpool itself has so much head-to-end energy. So, look, hats off to both of those players.
Earlier, I was checking with one of the judges because we were doing some rulings about Deadpool and stuff, and we checked the Gatherer rulings for Deadpool. Would you like to guess what was in the page for the Gatherer rulings?
I actually already know the answer to this.
Yeah?
Because it's a big old goose egg, fat
big
zero.
Old nothing. No rulings on Deadpool so far. So Highlander being the main format that I've seen playing Deadpool.
Yep.
Most of the rulings I've seen for this card have all come from Australian judges.
Yeah. All right, so we're getting ready for round 7. So we're going to sign up very quickly, but we'll be back very, very quickly with the last round.
Final round of Swiss.
Before we cut to top 8. So thanks everybody for watching. This is a very exciting game, bit of a weird conclusion. I can hear Graham chuckling in the background here. So he's an excellent sport. Well done to both of those players for an incredibly difficult match, and we'll see you soon.
See you soon, guys.